Welcome to the bold analysis. If you have been following and interested really as a matter of national interest, the country is at pain. The country is unhealthy. I want us to look at SHA. And I can tell you this analysis, you are not going to find it anywhere. No any other analyst is actually been talking about this matter. So as a subscriber of The Bold, make sure you watch this to the end. I have an interesting piece for you. So those of us who like information, this is the place we're going to get the information. Barely 45 days after the rushed rollout of SHA, the Ruto's pet financial health scheme has continued to ask to hurt patients. When they go to the hospitals, they're being asked to pay from their pockets, and approvals for their bills to be paid by the SHA are riddled with delays and rejection. It is no longer secret that the 45 days of SHA have been hell to patients. I wish someone can do research and tell us how many patients have died just because of this quagmire. And just on Tuesday, we did a story where Elijah Wachira, the CEO of SHA, was sent on compulsory leave for 90 days. Now, a day after that suspension, another board member also resigned, and he was in charge of strategy, a report that is well captured by Nation here.
Private hospitals provide healthcare, Honorable Speaker. These are people you can never negotiate with. But when our people go, they are turned away. When they go to public hospitals, they are turned away. Where will the Kenyan poor, Honorable Speaker, go to?
The cries we are getting from our own constituencies, the cries we are getting from ordinary Kenyans is telling you that there is a huge problem with the transition. And this transition was not done efficiently.
Speaker, we have a problem. And the basic problem is a problem of transition. So when we actually passed these bills, remember our greatest argument was actually on the issue of transition. So what has happened and why SHA and CHIF actually have gotten into problems is the transition, we didn't manage it well.
But even before the October 1st rollout of SHA, the pit signs were too many to ignore. From the loud pleas for more time to fine-tune the systems, a two-time postponement of the rollout date, a last-minute change of leadership, and the abrupt disenabling of the NHIF that had been in operation for decades. Private hospitals also immediately expressed reluctance to admit patients under SHA owing to huge pending bills owed to them by the defunct NHIF. Even the dodgy explanations on the yet-to-be-tried and incomplete healthcare management information system that cost 104 billion shillings did not help the situation.
And you remember when Wachira was pushed out, I did that analysis and I told you Kenyans that the move of suspending the SHA CEO can be seen as part of getting a solution. But the problem at SHA is more complex and bigger that cannot be narrowed to the 90 days of that CEO. And I explained the complex intrigues of this. I was listening to Ndu Latif during the Spice FM team, and I've really picked the issue on how the the framers of this, or the brains behind this, have intentionally made it complex. They've intentionally made that SHA a very complex thing, even to understand.
This SHA thing.
Let me give you one more example, if I may.
Please.
Now, for something as sensitive, as delicate, as critical, as healthcare, you mean to tell me that it is not possible to share with the citizens of the nation how you're going to transition from one system that was working to another, which is a little bit more complicated in terms of what is going to happen, but it is of to people's benefit. You cannot communicate how it's going to be done. You cannot fix the nuts and bolts.
Bungled this thing.
It properly. Then they're telling us it's teething problems. Come on, the baby has not even been born. The baby is stuck in the birth canal. There's not teething problems.
This thing was bungled
Come on.
Because if we look at the history of our country, every time there's a heist, you will find all manner of confusion. I mean, things that defy very basic logic. And you're asking, but this thing isn't that complicated.
Come on.
Why is it appearing to be complicated? Well, because it is being made to be
complicated.
Just like this thing. We've had NHIF for decades. We know how this thing works. People who understand these things, it's not just NHIF. Believe me, there are people in this country who understand this, and it's not one or two people, many. For this amount of muddying to be the subject of our conversation day in, day out, it was planned to be this way.
It was planned, it was deliberate for this mess to happen.
I think there may be some quarters at planned. I think one of the big problems that this thing has had is there are too many leaders, too many cooks
in the kitchen
around it. So there are cooks who are working off State House. There are cooks who are working from NHIF offices. There are cooks who are working from the Ministry of Health, Afia House. There are cooks who are working elsewhere from the entrepreneurship offices in various offices in the country, right? All those cooks, each of them is cooking this thing.
So to tell you this, and we keep on saying that this was a rushed thing. Why was it rushed? Go with me to the Nation newspaper, and you can go online and search for this article. Ignored red flags that birthed the chaos in Social Health Insurance Fund. And then I will take you to paragraph 4 of that article. I wish we can go together, but I'm going to lay it with you here. This is what it's saying, and I think this is the gist of this. And an emerging concern is that President William Ruto's administration was in such a hurry to tap into billions raised from the 2.7% deductions from the gross pay of all salaried workers and procure the 104.8 billion digital system still under development to replace the NHIF, that it ignored all the telltale signs of imminent trouble. Hold on, let me explain to you. When Nakumicha, remember when Nakumicha was in that docket, the rollout of SHA was supposed to happen in April. You know why it was delayed? The time Ogola died on 18th February, the following week, the deductions were supposed to start. But government backpedaled on those deductions, on that rollout, because the system was not there. And of course, they're also looking at the economy. Kenyans were really complaining about the housing levy. And they knew that deductions for housing levy had really hurt the salaried workers. So they said, let's hold on. From April, it was pushed to July 1st. It could not be rolled in July 1st because Kenya was in a political turmoil. The Gen Z protest was at its peak. And the government realized it was not prudent to roll out such a program at that time because it was going to hurt the population more, and it will add into the problems that the public are already raising. Then it was pushed to October 1st. The day that the rollout was being done nationwide, that was the time Rigathi Gachagua impeachment was hot in Parliament. And so the public was never carried along in that rollout. Now Nation is reporting that the sole objective why President Ruto and the team were pushing through this is because they knew that immediately it is rolled, they will be able to start deducting the 2.7% from the salaried Kenyans. Now, your October salary, which will start hitting your bank account, speaking to guys who are in formal employment, your October salary will start hitting your account next week on 24th. I think that's where the police paid around that time. It will have the 2.7% deduction. That was the objective. But there were many red flags. Many red flags. And I want us to look at those red flags. And that is why I'm telling you, I still maintain the SHA issue is not simply about the CEO. The rollout, Robert Pukose, the NDBS member of parliament who chairs the National Assembly Health Committee, warned the government against the rollout of SHIF, citing potential corruption concerns, single sourcing of that ICT infrastructure, lack of tender documents, insufficient public participation, and many other things that were raised. And this is what he said. He said that the rollout, the pilot project that was done in Tharaka-Nithi, Marsabit, Isiolo, and the Nyeri counties flopped. And so government needed to go back to drawing board. But none of that could be had by that board that was managing transition. Because remember, the plan was to raid your payslip. Walikuwa nataka hiyo pesa so that that money can be deducted. And that was a big problem. Now there is another information I want you to get here, interestingly. Questions were raised, and I know even you have been asking this. Do you know that according to that transition committee, the cost of improving the NHIF system was 700 million. Oh, it's not propaganda. I need to put it. I need you to get it so that I have that information here. I was just looking at it. I've seen it here. Yeah, I've seen it here. Let me get it. Yeah. Questions have been raised as to why the cheaper option of 700 million upgrade of existing NHIF ICT system infrastructure wasn't considered. Now look at the option. The William Ruto administration had an option of using 700 million to upgrade NHIF ICT system. That was option one. Or you procure a new system at 104 billion. Hey. So, I will not involve in giant projects. I will not overburden taxpayers. Decided to go for a 104 billion, 104.8 billion ICT infrastructure instead of using a paltry 700 million to upgrade NHIF. So are you understanding why we are saying that everything was rushed for a purpose? And even as we speak, that system is not there. So Ruto needed to make those deductions. The opaqueness in this is well explained by a comparison that I saw Eric Latif did. They are saying how Uhuru Kenyatta handled COVID.
You cannot have very many centers of power operating on such a thing and expect it to work.
No.
Look at COVID. President Uhuru, with all his failings, got one thing right with COVID.
NAC.
He said, let's establish one central command, the National Emergency Response Committee. It shall be headed by one person, the minister in charge of health. Any communication on COVID shall come from here. And when it doesn't come from here, he escalates it to my office. It is either Mutahi Kagwe or Uhuru Kenyatta who was communicating on COVID. When there is interior matters to be done, it is Mutahi Kagwe who says, now I am asking the interior minister to give us an update of what's happening. When it is education, Mutahi Kagwe says it is Mutahi Kagwe's press conference that was being attended by the Minister for Education, the Minister for Interior, all the others, but it was Mutahi Kagwe's ship. When matters were beyond Mutahi Kagwe, he said, this one is the president. And the president would come and say, all right, I have been told that this and this and the other. I am deferring this to science experts. And they're here.
And a committee was formed.
And if those experts tell me that we are good to open the country,
then we will
reopen the country. Until then, hold on. So it was very clear. Now here we have Minister Nahumicha. We have chairman of what? We had chairman of NHIF talking. We had chairman of the new SHA talking. We have people coming from State House, advisors talking. With so many people.
Then we still have the ministry talking.
Yeah, Nahumicha was talking.
Yeah.
And now we have Baraza talking, PS talking, I don't know who talking. Too many people talking. Everybody's doing, and
nothing is happening.
And everybody's doing their own thing.
Okay. There was one communication channel, Waziri Mutahi Kagwe. From Waziri Mutahi Kagwe, if something, he will escalate to the president. And if the president, before president makes a decision, he has a technical emergency response committee, one committee that was responding to it, and it was led by experts. So there is no decision that was going to be made that is not sanctioned by the experts. And listen to him. Do you know this thing even the minister cannot explain? By the way, for information, do you know the minister for health could not explain SHA and SHIF? Now I want you to look at a tweet. I want us to look at this tweet here by Gadonwa Mushomba. Look at this tweet. It's going to paint more light into what we are saying. I'm a certified health education and promotion expert in Kenya, my opinion. 5 reasons why SHA and SHIF implementation is a matrix of confusion. Now let's get to understand. A rushed program without successful pilot, the universal health pilot done in Nyeri, Kisumu, Machakos, and Isiolo flopped. Population economic means testing is slow and inefficient. This should have been done before the big migration. Uncertainty of payments of debts owed to hospitals by NHIF, hence low uptake of SHA services. Information dissemination gaps to the beneficiary communities and stakeholders. Lack of harmony of functions between county governments and national government. Some counties are yet to sign the intergovernmental participatory agreements, IPA. Unreliable data per SHA data systems, which keeps dropping amid operations. MPs Kamkunji will not sort these issues but rather play public relations. And I want to say this. Listen to this clip.
The best thing for this country, where anybody can walk into any health facility and get appropriate quality treatment, is what we all need. And that is what SHA is expected to address. The problems we have today on SHA, and I'm sorry, the majority leader was teasing people. They do not know the SHA, the SHIV, and the rest. And he's the one who's telling them, waving to them, say yes, say yes. And they are saying yes because they were obeying his orders. And today, he is telling them that they do not know what they voted for. I wish he was here to accept, to hear this.
Honorable Guyo Jaldesa So many of us have just agreed we don't understand the
So,
systems.
thank you, Mr. Speaker.
In fact, that is why I'm giving more members of the Health Committee a chance to speak to the public and to fellow members.
Yes. So, Mr. Speaker, Ruku is thinking about what to say. But, Mr. Speaker, this is a good thing. This House approved that motion. It approved through all the 3 readings. And it's unfortunate that our members of parliament do not understand what they passed. And for that, I think we agree that we need to have a kamkunji for members of parliament so that when they go out to the public, they know what to tell the people of Kenya. We know there are teething problems. Any problem, any project that you are starting as a teaching transitional problem, that it should be sorted out. So last week when we met the SHA team, we said that even Parliament, they should even open a tent here for them to register members of Parliament and their staff so that they understand these things and ask more, and then they go out to the public and tell them what to do.
MPs are saying that they want a kamkunji so that they can explain to the country about the problem, SHA. And I have a point there. The problem, and in fact, let's explain what MPs wants to understand. People are wondering how MPs are not understanding. And this thing is not that complicated. I think even some of members of the public do not understand. SHA is a social health authority. The social health authority is where there is the board that manages 3 health products. Okay, 3 financial schemes. SHA ni kama Safaricom. Then under SHA, they manage 3 funds. Primary healthcare, which is dealing with level 3 hospitals kurudi chini. That's where the dispensaries fall. Then there is the social health insurance fund. This is the NHIF. The social health insurance fund is premium-based scheme where members contribute 2.7% of their income. And now that is divided in different bundles, starting from what you earn from below 15,000 all the way to those who earn million. It is under that shift that they have done the bundling so that those who earn more are paying more, those who earn less are paying less. And then there is critical and chronic health scheme. Government is supposed to put money there and also look at other financing avenues like grants and through legislative means so that they put money in that kitty. It's supposed to cover critical health issues such as cancer and kidney diseases and so on. So, if you have been following this, my analysis on this, MPs must understand that it is not a purely communication problem. It is not that the patients don't understand what SHA and SHIF is all about. Even if you come and explain, and people, because what I've said is what MPs are going to tell Wanjiku, even if you tell Wanjiku that, but if that digital ICT system is not working, it's not going to help. So even as MPs are calling for kamkunji, I don't agree with that kamkunji. That kamkunji is just another way to solicit money so that wapange mahali, they should be given some money to go and do some civic education. It is not a civic education issue. By the way, so long as that system will be working, kwamba nikienda hospitali na nilikuwa nimeregister, I can be able to pay, and that private hospitals can be able to be enrolled in SHA and they be able to treat the patients. That's when we are going to talk about civic education. The civic education is very important. But remember, this issue is not only a communication problem. There is a system failure that should be addressed. The long and short of it, this is what I'm seeing. You might now ask me, Kevin, what are you seeing? I'm seeing 2 things in SHA. The scheme is a manufacturing plan, is a plan to manufacture corruption. Is a scheme to manufacture corruption, and the interest in it are so huge. Kwanza, that 104 billion ICT infrastructure, that is the monster in it. First, it was single sourcing. It was not competitive. The procurement was not competitive. Walienda toka chukua akachagua mtu mmoja na akapewa. That's the problem is. Number two, how we are going to imagine mtu anafaa apewe 104 billion abuy hiyo kitu, then atariscoop that money in 10 years. That's like a business. What is supposed to be a social health scheme has now technically been commercialized. Because kama mtu anatoa pesa yake na analeta hiyo infrastructure, that ICT infrastructure, costing 104 billion, then he's going to recoup that money in 10 years. Si atapata na interest. So we have just commercialized it. And so you find how we've really made a misstep. Ruto is framing the collapse of SHA as a communication problem, but there is something that the public don't understand. Yes, they don't understand, and that's why there are not so many people have registered, because hawaelewi. But if you can address the challenges that people are seeing, so that people are not going to see patients stranded at the gates of the hospitals, people are going to uptake, they're going to accept. Do you know even MPs are not registered on SHA? Tuambieni ukweli, they are not. And Kenya Kwanza have this tendency that when a program fails, they tend to say there was no public, the public was not enlightened. Remember even Finance Bill, Ruto believes that Finance Bill collapsed because Wanjiku was not told the right thing. So, as much as we want to address communication, we want to tell Wanjiku to register, but if you're not fixing the system so that these videos of patients being stranded in the hospitals, looking for dialysis machines, these videos of patients being asked for cash, so long as these videos are not going to be in the social media, the people will uptake. But first, the MPs must be very truthful. Tell the president to shelve that monster called SHA. Go back to NHIF. Let that transition go gradually, pole, baba. Pole, so that it does not hurt the health fraternity. But the Pukose commission, that is the health committee led by MP Pukose said that, Robert Pukose said that, let's do it pole. But SHA, you want to cut off NHIF so that you bring SHA. And remember, kuna watu wako NHIF wenye wamekuja SHA na their job is at stake. Those people can sabotage even that SHA. Ladies and gentlemen, the country must be sober about this. Otherwise, we are treading a dangerous route. Thank you.